Hey guys, what's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? It's your boy Jared here. Just sitting in front of the computer, doing a little remote recording on my phone tonight. Don't feel like breaking out all the equipment. I don't have a headphone jack on this new phone I have, and I don't have a dongle to connect my wired earphones, and I don't have wireless earbuds yet. So we're gonna see how this sounds. So I'm just gonna roll with it here. Like I said, I got my phone set up. I didn't feel like digging out the equipment. I don't have wireless earbuds yet. That's my next purchase. So there's been a lot of shit that I want to talk about, and I mean a lot of shit that I want to talk about. What's going on with professional wrestling, especially the WWE, the Vince McMahon thing. We'll get to that. There's so much boxing and MMA news. There's some cool shit I found. For starters, Kurt and I are going to probably do 2 episodes this week. I got to start on the research tomorrow night. We're going to do the 1990 World Series, Oakland Athletics versus Cincinnati Reds. We'll do that this weekend. And then one night this week, won't be tomorrow night. I'm doing a little Masonic traveling tomorrow night, Freemasonry stuff. But Wednesday or Thursday night, we'll get together and do a Weeknight Chronicles episode. But there's just so much shit I want to talk about, and there's also, I was just going to get on here and talk about some things that's bothering me, but there's a lot of newsworthy things going on too, so I figured, fuck it, we'll just cover some stuff. So like I said, I'm going to talk a little stuff I don't want to talk about, but we're going to talk some sports news too, because there's quite a bit of things, and one of the coolest things I found, oh, damn it, come on. So one of the coolest things I found is, I'm a big Colts fan. That's my team. And say what you want about Jim Irsay. I know a lot of people hate Irsay's guts. They think he's a pillhead because, he's had some addiction issues in the past getting popped. But Jim Irsay, the owner of my franchise, my team, he's a big boxing fan. Huge boxing fan. And, okay, and you guys know my love for boxing and my love for football and how does this all tie in? Well, I seen the story yesterday evening. He, over the weekend, walked away with a very historic piece in boxing history. He's a collector of memorabilia, sports memorabilia, especially boxing. And he walked away with Muhammad Ali's WBC title from the 1974 Rumble in the Jungle fight where Ali bested Foreman. Now, Foreman, we've talked about that fight before, and I think back in our Tyson versus Ali episode, Foreman, Ali beat Foreman. That was when they were fighting in Zaire, whatever, the Rumble in the Jungle. But the WBC is one of the 4 governing bodies in professional boxing. You've got the WBA, WBC, IBO, and IBF. The WBC, to a lot of people, is that's the big green belt. That's the one that's the be-all, end-all to a lot of people. But anyways, Irsay spent $6 million. He spent $6 million on a championship belt. And like I said, this is not a replica. This is a ring-used, ring-worn belt attached to the greatest boxer in the history of the sport. So to give you some idea, it's a holy grail piece in boxing history. The belt originally sold in auction in 2017 for like $120,000. Rumor on the street is it's one of just 2 known Ali belts. There's 2 of them in existence. The other is in a private museum collection, so we don't know who has it. But anyways, Irsay, it's just he added this piece to his collection, which is kind of cool because in his collection, he also has a couple other Ali pieces. Before he purchased the shoes that Ali wore with his Thriller and Manila fight against Joe Frazier, and then he also bought Ali's walkout robe for his first fight when he stopped being Cassius Clay and become Muhammad Ali, when he fought Sonny Liston in '65. So, like I said, Irsay is a huge collector of memorabilia. He's got a Stratocaster guitar from David Gilmour, Pink Floyd. You know, he paid like $4 million for that. He's got a set of Ringo Starr's drums. He paid $2 million for that. He's got documents written by America's founding fathers. Like, say what you want about him, he's a son of a bitch to a lot of people. But the owner of my franchise, like, I would love to spend just one afternoon in his man cave, because I guarantee you the shit he has in there is pretty cool. But there's some holy grail pieces, like this title. So, hats off to Irsay for being a badass, like a legitimate badass. So another piece of boxing news that I want to talk about, and if you go back to our Laundromat Listenings episode 5, recorded June 8th, June 9th, June 10th, somewhere in there, I broke down George Ferocious Kambosos versus Devin Haney, which I had called probably the third or fourth biggest fight of the year for the calendar year 2022, and it was. We're already talking about a rematch, and if it's being planned right now, nothing has been confirmed yet, but it's being planned for October 16th in Australia, which is a huge turnaround. You're talking a 4-month turnaround, which is huge news. The whole reason this came about is when Haney signed the contract to travel to Australia to face Kambosos for the title, there was a return bout signed that in the event that no matter who won or lost, there would be a return bout, and it would be held once again in Australia. And of course, like I said, Haney surprised a lot of people, and hats off to Devin Haney. He's a hell of an athlete, he's a hell of a boxer, and he deserved his victory. Hats off to Devin Haney. I thought George Kambosos was going to mop the floor with him. That is not what happened, because it was a unanimous decision that Haney is now an undisputed champion. He has all 4 135-pound titles in the 135-pound division across all 4 of boxing's major sanctioning bodies. So the fact that this rematch is being touted this early now, I seen on Twitter over the weekend, and I don't remember exactly what it said verbatim. Either Haney or Kambosos one said, "I haven't agreed to the date for a rematch yet," but they're tentatively scheduling it for October, which is amazing to me that it is that quick of a turnaround, and that potentially you could have Haney's first title defense being a loss, just kind of like with Kambosos, because if memory serves correctly, this title defense against Haney was his first defense and he lost. Kambosos, if the return match gets booked for October, Kambosos is coming in at 20-1 with his only loss coming to Haney, and then Haney should be coming in at 27, 28-0. Let me pop on the Google machine here, because I'm sitting right here at my home office since I work from home now. Let me my dual monitors going. Yes, Haney would be coming in at 28-0. Right now, with the loss to Haney, it put Kambosos down number 4 in the lightweight division. Haney now, who fights out of Las Vegas, he's an American. He's obviously ranked number 1 in the world in the 135-pound lightweight division. So it'll be interesting. And as I always say, anytime we talk about any sport, sports is a business. Doesn't matter if it's professional wrestling, football, baseball, hockey, tennis, swimming, whatever. Sports is a business. At the end of the day, if there's money to be made, the money will be made. Because at the end of the day, it is a business. And these guys know that. And a return bout will draw huge numbers, especially a second return bout in Australia. Now, I don't think this one will be scheduled for Marvel Stadium, and that was impressive. They were in Melbourne at Marvel Stadium seeing, 60, 70, 80,000 people, 50,000 people, however many was there. I don't remember. It was an impressive sight. They're probably still... it's going to be in Australia, no doubt. They could still be in Melbourne. If they do, one of the places being kicked around has been the Rod Laver Arena, which would be the home of the Australian Open for you tennis fans out there. But nothing has been confirmed yet. And of course, we are cruising towards the two of the other five biggest fights of the year, which is Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua. And then, of course, the biggest fight of the year that I've been talking about, or the most anticipated fight of the year. And I'm tentatively going to put this at probably at the end of the year, after all these fights have went down. I'll tentatively put this at probably the second biggest fight of the year, which would be Canelo Triple G, because they're not taking nothing away from my girls back in April. Amanda Soriano and Katie Taylor selling out fucking Madison Square Garden. What they did for boxing, not just women's boxing, but what they did for the sport of boxing and combat sports cannot be. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So September, Triple G, Canelo, 3, the rematch of all rematches. So, I want to touch on something I just said a second ago. The Usyk versus Anthony Joshua match. As we get closer to bell time next month, I'll do a full... I could potentially do a full preview, or I just might wait till after the fight and do a review. But as I said, this is one of the top 5 biggest fights of the year. This is going down August 20th in the Superdome in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Got some of that Saudi blood money going on. The winner of this contest will be the unified heavyweight world champion. And this is big because this goes back to Tyson Fury again. Tyson said he retired after taking part in what I rank tentatively as the 5th biggest fight of the year, when he fought Dillian Whyte back in April in England. Tyson said he was done, but I pulled a little article up that I read the other day on one of the boxing websites, and that's been covered by ESPN. Tyson Fury says he's done, but he said that he's 32-0 right now with 1 draw. He's got 23 knockouts. Fury has talked that he would come out of retirement, but it's got to be a big payday. And when I say a big payday, you're talking astronomical numbers, like a $500 million purse, which is just stupid. It's such a high purse that nobody's going to I don't think. Now, this past week, Tyson Fury came out and said that he would step inside the ring again, only for a fight with Anthony Joshua in the United Kingdom for free. Why this is funny is the fight that a lot of people have wanted to see for a long time has been Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury. I want to see that fight. There's a lot of people that want to see that fight. Nobody wants to see Joshua and Fury. I shouldn't say that. Joshua's never faced Fury. They've never squared off. It would be something to see. Fury defeated Deontay Wilder a couple years ago. Tyson's faced Deontay Wilder a few times. But I want to see Usyk versus Joshua, or Usyk versus Fury. But now Tyson has said that he would come out to fight for free. But you have to understand that with the 4th biggest fight of the year coming next month in Saudi Arabia with Usyk and Joshua, you have to believe that no matter who wins that fight, Tyson Fury is going to be approached. So it's about all the boxing news I have. I'm just really getting excited, and like I said, this Usyk Joshua fight I'll cover a little bit more before or after, and then of course September when we go down for Canelo Triple G Part 3, I'm going to do multiple takes on that. And that's just, it's going to be something good. Definitely going to be something good there. So I want to talk a little bit about baseball. Quite a few things baseball. my mind just keeping wrapping around what's going on in pro wrestling right now, but we'll save that for the end. But I want to talk a little baseball. Baseball's my first love. This podcast has been dominated by baseball episodes. We've done several, the majority of them being World Series recaps, which, for whatever reason, World Series recaps seem to be some of our best reviewed episodes, are well received. And what little bit of feedback we usually get tends to come more on baseball than anything. But I wanted to talk specifically about baseball cards. So I've recently rediscovered an old passion for baseball cards and sports cards, and I attribute that to this upcoming collaboration with Chris, aka Dutch, from the After Two Beers podcast. He's on vacation right now. Just seen it on Facebook. I told him when he gets back from vacation, we'll talk. We'll tentatively set a date sometime next month for the collaboration episode. They're going to record an episode with us. We're going to record one with them. He wants to talk about sports memorabilia and baseball cards and stuff. And I was like, man, I haven't looked at my cards in years. So I went and found some of my cards, found some good ones, all kinds of stuff. This guy I know, real good friends with, he just texted me the other day. He has a shit ton of baseball cards. He wants me to come look through and some stuff. It's just, this guy is real in touch with what I'm doing. So he knows a lot of things. And then, I wanted to talk about a Mickey Mantle baseball card. I seen this come across ESPN this morning, and I read it, and now I'm looking at the article right here. There's a collector's item from 52, a mint condition Mickey Mantle baseball card that they could be looking at record-breaking numbers. They're estimating, ballpark, this baseball card could sell for $10 million. It's a 1952 top signed Mickey Mantle card. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, it is, wow. The record for a card right now was set about a year ago. That was for a 1909 Honus Wagner card that sold at auction for like $6.6 million. When the auction debuted online today for this Mickey Mantle card, bidding was up to, at press time of this ESPN article, was already at like $4.2 million. I haven't checked it. I mean, you guys can go check it now if you want. I'm into other shit, but the guy that's selling this card is going to bankroll his retirement if he hasn't already. The guy that owns the card right now, his name's Anthony Giordano. He owns a New Jersey company, Waste Management. He bought the card in 1991 for $50,000. Think about that. He bought the card in 1991 for $50,000, and they're estimating that this baseball card he let go to auction could sell for upwards of $10 million. Like, I mean, this is Mickey Mantle winner. This is he's a Triple Crown winner, 56. He's a 3-time American League MVP. And how many World Series did he get with the Yankees? 6, 7, 8. Of course, Mickey Mantle passed away several years ago. Probably, what is it? 95, maybe 96. I wonder if click on this article a little more. Mickey Mantle passed away in 1995. But anyways, it's just fun to think about. The card's going to be on display in Atlantic City, New Jersey, starting Wednesday through Sunday at the National Sports Collectors Convention. So it's that's a pretty cool thing to say. So that's got me looking at baseball cards and stuff again. And it was just funny this came out because it's all connected. Oh boy, that was my work phone you heard in the background. Call me Jared Two Phones. I'm going to pause this for a minute, guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. That was the old iPhone work phone. Fucking hate iPhones. I'm not an iPhone guy. I've always been an Android guy. It takes a lot to get used to running an iPhone. Sidebar. I did a little research. I got a 2020 iPhone SE. So yeah, it's like a $300, $400, $500 model iPhone, but I mean the brains of it, it's running like an $800, $900 iPhone. It's pretty impressive. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's impressive. Anyways, where the fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah, so the baseball cards, because like I said, this upcoming episode with Dalton, Dutch Dalton, and all them guys, and come on, man. So I don't know how long it's gonna keep going. I might have to keep pausing it. So you guys might be hearing me pause it every so often to handle a little bit. Hey man, I'm on call 24 hours. Now I'm like I said, I'm sitting here in front of the computer. I'm going to eBay because there was something I found on eBay last night that absolutely blew my mind, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I told you guys I work for my best friend, right? Now since I'm working from home and doing other things. So one of my, there's a group of 6 of us. One of my best friends is my boss. So if I don't answer the phone, I get, shit from 2 different directions. I swear, guys, I'm sorry. Anyways, let me log into my eBay here. I just think this is really cool. I'm not used to doing eBay on the desktop, but come on, here we go. Where's my watch list? One of my favorite things I've always done, I discovered eBay about 8 years. I shouldn't say discovered, I've known about it, but I got into eBay about 8 years ago. That was when I had my accident at Wapaka, when I suffered third degree burns, and I was off work for 6 months. After I got home out of the hospital, I was sleeping 18, 19 hours a day, doped up on painkillers and everything, because I'd never been in that kind of pain before. But then the 4 or 5 hours a day that I was awake, everybody would be asleep. So I just got on eBay. So I like to look up it. I find a bunch of things I watch, just because I like seeing the prices, how crazy things get. And since I'm getting back into sports memorabilia, and specifically talking about baseball, I'm getting into cards and everything, because I've always been a memorabilia collector. You ought to see my pro wrestling collection of things. But I was looking, like, autographed baseballs. Like, what's the highest? There is a baseball going on, listed on eBay right now for $1 million. It is supposedly the only Josh Gibson signed baseball on earth. Josh Gibson. Who's Josh Gibson? Well, let me tell you about Josh Gibson. I love baseball. He was basically what you would call, and they quoted it correctly they described it accurately as far as I'm concerned. They put in quotation marks the Black Babe Ruth in his day, and that's pretty much what Gibson was. He was probably until Jackie came along, he was probably the most dominating hitter, definitely feared by pitchers alike in the Negro Leagues. Jackie Robinson crossed the color barrier and played in the big leagues after Gibson had passed away 3 months prior, so they never got a chance. Satchel Paige, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, said that Josh Gibson was probably the greatest hitter he'd ever pitched to, and he pitched to Williams, Maggio, Mays, Mantle. Said none of them was ever as great as Josh. It's just funny because there's not a lot of available history pieces from the era of the Negro Leagues before Jackie Robinson crossed everything, boundaries and everything. What few things, artifacts, and memorabilia survive from the days of the Negro League eras are all in the hands of a bunch of private collectors or in a couple of museums, people that don't want to let go of things. So the baseball itself, it is just horribly multicolored. I mean, it's not tattered and falling apart. But it's impressive to see it. Gibson signed the Homestead Grays, July 8th, 1942. The reason this guy, I'm reading the description right now, the guy basically says he tagged the price at $1 million because a Joe Jackson baseball photo 8x10 recently sold at an auction for $1.4 million. So considering how there is kind of been a high demand for Josh Gibson memorabilia and the fact that there's not that much, this guy's thinking this ball could go for more than that. But it's been authenticated by several of the, I don't know if you call them the authenticators, specifically to me, the top dog, JSA, and it comes with letters, certificates of authenticity. But I'm just looking at the ball right now, and wow, what a very cool piece of professional baseball history and memorabilia. I think it's outstanding. I was actually just looking on eBay last night for a signed autographed baseball from one of my favorite pitchers who had a bright start, and it didn't shine very long. Jose Fernandez, the Miami Marlins pitcher who made his major league debut in 2013. He was Rookie of the Year for the NL 2013. I've never seen somebody dominate like that. My fascination and obsession with Jose started. 2013 was the first year I played fantasy baseball on ESPN, and I needed a pitcher on day 2 or 3 of the season, and I just went to the waiver wire and just seen a guy start named Fernandez for the Marlins, and I was like, I just need a pitcher. I don't care. And then after I seen what he did the next day, I was like, holy shit, I'm going to hold on to this guy for just a little bit. And I rode him all season to a second place finish in my fantasy baseball league. The 2013 All-Star Games was held in New York, I do believe. I'm trying to think. I want to say the 2013 game was held in New York. I can't remember, but that game was dominated by some of my favorite pitchers at the time. Chris Sale was in there, and Jose and everybody, and he signed, and they're hard to find. This particular ball is hard to find. I've been looking. They used to be on there after it was over the first season. I mean, he was a young horse, and he had a oh shit season. Like, watch out for this kid. This is going to dominate the league for the next 10 or 15 seasons. They were easier to find then. Now they're harder to find with his untimely passing that happened a few years ago in the boating accident. But he signed the All-Star Game ball, Jose Fernandez, number 16, 2013 NL Rookie of the Year, just as ROY. And I want one to display because I'm redoing my office right now. I'm not really redoing it. I'm just starting to decorate it with memorabilia and stuff, which is going to be a pain in the ass when I move next year. Like I said, I won't be here forever. I'll be moving. I surrendered my house. Shit, I probably shouldn't say that. Well, most people don't know the story anyways, but. So, there's that. I just keep thinking about that, $1 million signed baseball. Like $1 million. You know what? I wonder what the most expensive thing is going on eBay. Let's just type signed. Signed. 4.8 million results. Let's type signed. And let's go price highest first plus shipping. What do we got? Original pink and pink. Fuck, I can't talk. Original pen and ink drawing. Christopher Bowe, Relocating City with Flying Beans, 1986 original drawing. $15 million. The highest going thing on eBay right now. Here's something cool. Arizona Cardinals defensive back, the late Pat Tillman, who was killed in Afghanistan. He's got a picture or some game-worn cleats from 2000 with the Cardinals, $3.6 million. Some Andy Warhol paintings going for $3.1 million. Cool stuff. Tiger Woods is a used scored car. It doesn't say where. $2.5 million. Man, people with this shit just fucking crazy, man. Does it say when this came from? Doesn't say. Anyways. So getting back to baseball, of course, yesterday, or Saturday, when was it? I think it was yesterday, the 2022 Hall of Fame induction went down for Major League Baseball. Or, well, baseball in general. At Cooperstown in New York. Headlined, of course, by Big Papi David Ortiz, and posthumously by Gil Hodges, who was represented by his daughter, because Hodges passed away in 72, I think it was, or 73. And that was a hell of a ceremony. I did not watch it. I had the kids this weekend. Actually, I had them an extra night last night. So I did not get to watch anything. Of course, there was other inductees, Tony Olivia, Jim Catt, Minnie Miniso, Buck O'Neill, and then Bud Fowler. So, a hell of a class. Gil Hodges, you might remember, played first base in the 50s, and then, of course, he's most known for being the skipper for the Miracle Mets, which that won the World Series championship. Fuck, Kurt would know. He wasn't born yet, but he'd know. 68, 69? 69 Mets, yeah, of course, 69 Mets. I remember that. It goes tongue-in-cheek. Let me look. Let me look here. I feel like that goes tongue-in-cheek, like I've heard that phrase before now. Yep, 69 Mets, the Miracle Mets. So, that's awesome. I don't know. I mean, there ain't no other way around it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool shit. Miss McMahon, such good shit, pal. Oh, man, is he ever in some fucking water. Oh, my God. I about melted Friday when everything went down, finally. Do we got anything else baseball-wise I want to talk about? Before I get in this, I've got record 90-minute episodes here, and I've used 32 minutes already, which means I got 58 minutes left to go. I mean, is there anything baseball? Wasn't there something today or yesterday about Manfred with the United States Senators? Let me see what the old Espen says. It was just more about this minor league fucking... So, if you guys remember, we briefly touched on this in an earlier episode, I think, or maybe just in crosstalk of one of our episodes we've done about the United States Senators with Manfred. Questions about the sports minor leaguers and antitrust exemptions. Basically, they're wanting a answer from him about this. The money and da-da-da-da-da, and they're giving him a few extra days to pull something out of his... I hate Manfred's guts. I shouldn't say I hate Manfred. It's not right. There is one other thing that's kind of big news to me. One of my favorite players, the Texas Rangers have agreed to a contract with the former AL Cy Young winner, Dallas Keuchel. Unfortunately, he'll be starting in the minors. He's going to the minor league. Keuchel is about my age. He's my age. He's 34. He played with earlier this season with the White Sox in Arizona. He's a two-time All-Star selection, and he was the 2015 Cy Young Award winner back in his glory days in Houston. In 2015, he was playing pretty lights-out ball. He finished like 21-9, 20-8, whatever it was, and had a solid year. Over his career right now in general, though, Keuchel's 101-89, but he's got a 3.92 ERA, which isn't great, but it's solid. If your ERA is under 4 for your career, that's pretty solid. So, he's signing a minor league deal right now. His last start came just a few weeks ago, back on July 12th with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like I said, he played for the White Sox and the Diamondbacks before getting released by both teams. Not really that good. He's 2-5 with a 7.88 ERA and 8 starts with the White Sox, and then he's 0-2 with a 9.64 ERA for 4 starts so far with the Diamondbacks. So, not the greatest. Sorry. Work stuff again. It's like you guys never know I'm gone. Just hit the pause button and you guys never know I disappeared. Alright, moving on. There's a couple other things I want to talk about while I'm here. Something I wasn't prepared for. Let's just search the old ESPN. Anything. Got to build towards this McMahon piece here. We got anything in there was something in NASCAR. It's always good to poke fun at NASCAR. Just ain't the same NASCAR I grew up on, but it's always fun to poke fun at NASCAR a little bit. What the fuck did I see about NASCAR today? Oh yeah, Joe Gibbs Racing, that's what it is. Before that though, is there anything else? Okay, here we go. Loading. So I guess yesterday Pocono went down. And that's right, because Pocono's usually June or July. Pocono's traditionally one of my favorite races of the year, at least when I was watching it week in, week out. It's a super speedway that drives like a road course. That's what Pocono is. Some people hate it. I love it. A couple years ago, we were on we were on bad luck where Pocono had got rained out both races that year on Sunday, so they reran them on Monday afternoons at noon. Fuck, I just turned the race on down there and listened to the race all day while I was running the machine. That was like best day ever. Just sit there, run the machine, instead of listening to wrestling or music. Fuck, I just sit there and listen to Pocono. But anyways, Joe Gibbs Racing got in some shit. They failed a post-race inspection, and they started some shit with NASCAR, and they have since apologized for failing the inspection, and they are not going to appeal the penalties. NASCAR did something that they haven't done since in my lifetime, and according to the research and what I read today, they haven't done this in like 60 years or better. They took away Denny Hamlin's victory and the second place finish of his teammate Kyle Busch. Joe Gibbs Racing finished 1-2 at Pocono, and they stripped them of that. They found issues in both their cars that would affect the aerodynamics. NASCAR's senior vice president of competition, Scott Miller, said there was extra layers of vinyl found under the wrap of the car, or basically the paint scheme, and it modified that area of the lower nose on each car. They thought it was an unfair competitive advantage. Now, Joe Gibbs Racing's Wally Brown, who is the director of their racing or competition teams or whatever, said that they apologized. This change in our build process was not properly vetted within our organization, and we recognize it as against NASCAR's rules. We hereby apologize for the mistake, and we have made changes to our process to make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, my guy, since I've semi come back to watching racing within the last few years, like I keep tabs on it, but I don't watch any races. I kind of come back, started rooting for Bill Elliott's boy Chase. Chase finished third. You know, he drives a fucking Chevy, whatever. His dad drove a Ford for years. Chase finished third. He races for Hendrick Motorsports. They have went ahead and awarded him the victory, and he never led a lap the entire race. But Hamlin will be the first driver disqualified since 1960. That would have been his third win of the season and a track record 7th win at Pocono. So, how about that shit, huh? Anything in the NBA we should talk about? Just a lot of... there's some Pacer shit, you know, involving Russell Westbrook and some trades and for Westbrook and some draft picks in exchange for like Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, and the Pacers rejected it. And a lot of people say Westbrook's a ball hog, and maybe he is, but I don't see how you don't significantly increase your odds with a player like Russell Westbrook. I talked to one of my good friends, Kurt's boss, my old boss, Adam Sweet, just over the weekend about it. I said, what do you get with that? He said, stats, not wins. I'm like, ooh, hot take. Hot take. So, where is my fucking vape? Ah, there you go. Sweet, sweet tobacco. I don't know. It would be interesting to see. It would be interesting to see Westbrook. Let me go to the Pacers page from ESPN here. Let's see what kind of headlines they have about this trade. We also could have had Deandre Ayton, and that backfired. I love Adrian Wojnarowski. When it comes to NBA sports, my trusted source is Woj. Like, when it comes to the NFL, it's Adam Schefter and fuck everybody else. When it comes to the NBA, it's Adrian Wojnarowski and fuck everybody else. And I got so excited, to hear that Deandre Ayton was thinking about the Pacers. Because here we go. The Pacers, here we go. Deandre Ayton came out of Arizona, coached by Sean Miller. I love Sean Miller. God, I love Sean Miller. Arizona is always consistently in the top 5, top 10 every season, whether it's defense, offense, whatever. They're in there at least one way. And Deandre Ayton is not a bust. Like, Deandre Ayton is a bona fide superstar. And, the Pacers had signed a 4-year, $133 million offer sheet. And I'm like, oh, and Woj reported it, and where everybody's kind of like, all right. Phoenix isn't going to match that for whatever reason, their own stupidity, our gain. And then at like the 11th hour, fucking the Suns decide they're not letting DeAndre Ayton walk. So I literally wanted to break pieces of furniture in my living room. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen because, I came out of the closet. I am a Lakers fan. But I'm also still a Pacers fan at heart, too. So I guess, in theory, I have two teams that I watch the sport. I like players on all 30 teams. But if I had to pick two teams that are really mine fuck it, I'll pick 3. There's 3 teams that I really love to watch and I want to see good things for. Lakers, Pacers, Knicks. Let me go to the Lakers page and see if maybe they've got some information about it, because the Pacers page don't have it. And of course, they ain't have nothing. You fuckers. But anyways, yeah, you guys go check it out. There's some wheeling and dealing back and forth between the Pacers and the Lakers. Potentially, the Lakers want, some Russell Westbrook, and there's draft picks in exchange for that, as well as Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. And I wasn't sold on Miles Turner to begin with. I wasn't. But I came around on Miles after a while. So, oh man, that's WWE news. Oh gosh, we'll have to get to that here in a minute. Let's just get back to some wrestling news. Is there anything really I need to cover in hockey? I can't cover everything, because if I do, then me and Kurt ain't going to have absolutely dick to talk about Wednesday or Thursday night when we do our mini episode. There's some hockey stuff here, but I think I'll save that for our episode. This was just me getting on here and getting a little more mileage out of the podcast, but me just wanting to talk about some things, and I don't have anybody to talk to. So, I'll talk to all of you people, because you guys seem to listen for whatever reason you seem to listen. Alright, guys, I take care of something. I'll be right back. Alright, guys, look, you never knew I was gone 30 minutes, did you? till I broke the fourth wall. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and mosey on to this, and I've got 45 minutes left. We've already been talking 45 minutes, so let's go ahead and talk about what I love to talk about more than anything, especially on the episodes when it's just me, is professional wrestling, the sport. And I just touched on it on our weeknight episode last week, the Vince McMahon thing. And 2 or 3 days after I recorded that episode, word came down, the internet fucking exploded. The internet exploded on Friday afternoon, on July 22nd, a date that will live in professional wrestling history and infamy. Vince McMahon stepped down and has officially retired. And I know what you're thinking. You guys that don't know a lot of pro wrestling just know it from hearing me talking. I always use the terms, is it a work, is it a shoot? I don't believe this is a work. 100% do not believe this is a work. I believe this is a shoot. This hush money and the sexual assault allegations and all this shit going down. McMahon put out a statement and also released a brief tweet that at 77 years of age, it was time for him to retire and look forward to other things in life. So he stepped down. Well, today, things just open up more. I mean, there's a lot to cover here, and I don't know if I can keep it all in chronological order because I'm bursting at the seams to talk about this shit. But we're going to try to, and we're probably not going to be successful at keeping it all together chronologically. But today, WWE posted an 8K filing, the results of their preliminary financial results for their second quarter in 2022. In the filing, it was detailed that the company has made a determination preliminarily that certain payments Vince McMahon agreed to make during a period from 2006 all the way through 2022, including amounts paid and payable in the future, were not recorded in their financial statements, which is a big fucking no-no. It should have been recorded as expenses in the quarters those agreements were made, i.e. unrecorded expenses. Hereof, as the date of today, July 25th, 2022, and technically it is midnight now. It is 12:17 a.m. on Tuesday morning. It is July 26th. To date, these unrecorded expenses have totaled approximately $14.6 million. All payments on the unrecorded expenses were or will be paid out by Vince McMahon personally. Well, now you have the fucking SEC getting involved because the WWE become a publicly traded company in the stock market in the year 1999. I know, I was there. I wasn't there, but I remember vividly, like, wrestling was my fucking life. So anything going on about it, the stock market, our first experience with the stock market came in 6th grade. We were playing with it in the fall of 99. I remember vividly the company going public in fall of 99. Well, now when you're a publicly traded company, as I said in the last episode, you have certain rules and laws. You can't just be, well, this is my company. I can do with the money what I want as long as everybody else is still getting paid. Oh, no. You might be the majority board shareholder, but you've got other fucking people to answer to. This shit all got started off going back on the June 15th Wall Street Journal article that the board was investigating a secret $3 million settlement that McMahon had made with a former employee, and I don't remember her name, Joy or something, whatever it was. I probably shouldn't say her name. I'll leave it out there. You guys can Google it. I thought her first name was Joy. Could be wrong. Does not matter. He had an affair. It was consensual. But he, quid pro quo. Do for me, do for you. Let's further your career. This was a good woman who was making 6 figures a year, ballpark about $100,000 a year. She wanted a pay raise. I'll increase it to $200K a year. Come over here and give me a blow me, basically. Okay, that kicked a hornet's nest. So this shit gets all up and going. That kicked a fucking hornet's nest, right? Okay, well, then matters got worse when 3 weeks later, on July 8th, the Wall Street Journal published another report stating that he had agreed to pay more than $12 million in the past 16 years. So 2022, 16 years, 2012 was 10. So going back to 2006, thereabouts, he agreed to pay to suppress allegations of sexual misconduct and infidelity. The payouts reportedly went to 4 women who were previously with the company. The women signed non-disclosure agreements that prohibited them from discussing potential legal claims against the relationship. Well, this just kicked the hornet's nest, okay? And you got to understand the balls on Vince McMahon. This is the most powerful man in the history of the sport of professional wrestling. This man is the godfather of professional wrestling. This man in this business is and will be, and I don't like to use religious iconography, whatever, but this man is God in this business. This is his business. This is his sport. He's had a monopoly on this shit for years. I'd say he even had a monopoly on it before 2001 when he purchased WCW and ECW in the span of about 4 months. Okay, and by the way, those 2 companies that he purchased, at the time, they were the number 2 and number 3 companies. WWF was the biggest, WWE. What McMahon paid for both of those companies and their content and some talent contracts and their video libraries and everything, essentially, he paid more for the trouble his fucking 77-year-old dick got him into than what he paid for these companies. And it just keeps getting worse and it keeps getting worse. And you got to understand the balls in this guy. This guy took on the federal government in 1993. Okay? You always talk about eras in professional wrestling. And then in 93, 94 started the new generation era. For those of you that watched back then or don't, maybe you'll remember. Or if you don't, I'll tell you. The business changed in 93. It was on a downswing. They were being sued for steroids and all this and steroid allegations. The days of guys like Hogan and Warrior and Warlord and Hercules, all these great, big, large, fucking monster mountain of men who looked jacked, who I guarantee you these motherfuckers were on juice. They were on the gas. Well, the WWF makes a transition while McMahon's under court fighting for the life of the company and himself so he doesn't go to prison with these steroids. They make a change in the product. That's when you start to see smaller guys getting over all the time, making names for themselves. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Owen Hart, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Wildman Mark Merrow. All these guys, smaller guys, because they're not on the juice. They take the company in a new direction. Anyways, McMahon was found not guilty of everything. He took on the federal government in 1993, and he won. And Vince has got a huge ego. So while this has all been going on, he's appeared on television a few times. Some PR stunt. World Wrestling Entertainment, then, now, forever, together. People love him. The fans eat it up. All the meanwhile, he's... And again, what I can remember from these articles, the very first one, it was a consensual relationship. Not a good relationship to have, but it was consensual. These other 4 women, or however many women that's accused him, and more people have come out with accusations, and I don't care what you say. This is wrong, but you always got to take that with a grain of salt, because how many times does somebody come under fire for accusations, and then it just seems like everybody comes out of the woodwork then to accuse this guy, because, not saying it's not true, sexual assault and everything, it's a huge thing, it's a serious thing. Do I think Vince is capable of it? Fuck yeah. I mean, I got in trouble for this man on Twitter a month and a half ago because I said nothing was going to happen. He's Teflon Don. Basically saying, rich, famous people aren't held to the standards that we're held to. People like me and you. I talked about this last week. Very passionately. I talked about this last week. And I didn't think anything was going to happen. Of course, they have to save face and do some public shit. At the time, he decided to step down, or not step down, he decided to step away and interimly leave his daughter in charge, Stephanie, who's married to probably one of the top 10 greatest in-ring performers of all time, Triple H. He interimly left Stephanie in charge of the company. Well, then when he retired, she is now no longer interim. She's co-in charge of the company with Nick Khan, and God damn it, do you hear me talk about how much I hate Nick Khan's guts? In an alternate universe, and I'm not a conspiracy theory guy on anything in this world, but in an alternate universe, I could conspiracy theory say that Khan released or done something, found out about this information and made it go public just so he could get Vince out of power. Because I could see this guy doing it. This clown is in over his head. He does not deserve the position that he's held working for one of the most prestigious companies in the world. He does not deserve the position of power that he currently holds. And it pisses me off. Anyways, it's a conspiracy theory. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but whatever. But as soon as the news came out, Vince said it out. The story to break the news that he was retiring and stepping away was, of course, the fucking Wall Street Journal. And their headline said it all. On the ropes for alleged misconduct, Vince McMahon retires. So, and it's just that their tweet said it all. And it's a picture of him waving in the ring with a microphone. And it's an old picture. They changed their company logo in 2014. From 2002 to 20... They changed their company logo when they become the WWE after the lawsuit from the World Wildlife Fund, and they were no longer the WWF in 2002. Well, then from 2002 to 2014, they used one logo, and then in 2014, they had different logos, and this is for an old logo, but... and Vince thanked the fans and the wrestlers and everyone it worked with. And, of course, Stephanie came into power. And Nick Khan is the co-CEO with her. Stephanie, of course, as you could figure, she's going to take on business dealings, too, as will Nick. But it's largely understood so far, or I don't know if it's been confirmed yet or not. I don't remember if it was confirmed or if it's just widely understood that while they would both kind of, run the business side of things, Stephanie will focus more on content as far as like the wrestling and the content thing, and Nick Khan will obviously work more about business. My biggest beef with Khan, I think, is just the way he comes in about 2 years ago, and then, we're in the middle of the pandemic and all these budget cuts start coming, and they're releasing great talent left and right. Then he looks for a huge influx of cash for the company. Not saying the company was hurting for money. I don't believe they were ever hurting for money. And he orchestrates a multi-billion with a fucking B, a multi-billion-dollar deal to sell the WWE Network, which was one of the greatest creations ever. They sell it to NBC and Peacock because of World Wrestling Entertainment's long working relationship with NBC, going back to the 80s with Saturday Night's Main Event and whatnot, and the XFL games and everything. They sell the rights to the WWE Network to Peacock. And of course, it's 2022. I have to keep remembering that it's different times now. Certain things won't fly. Peacock immediately goes and starts removing some of the content out of the library, which pisses me off. But of course, things were... It was a different time in the 90s. I was born in 87. I'll always consider myself a child of the 90s. Pro wrestling in the 90s and early 2000s was absolute fucking fire, son. But, you can't do some of the things. But anyways, I hate Nick Khan. Some other changes went backstage. Now, Bruce Pritchard is a great guy. I love Bruce Pritchard. Bruce has worked for the WWE 3 different occasions now. His longest tenured time was between 1992 and 2008. He was released by Vince's daughter, Stephanie. They had some altercations and some words. They didn't get along. He was brought back by Vince in 2018 or 2019. He is now a senior vice president with the company once again. Does some consulting role, and now he's backstage helping to run creative, helping to manage the shows. And then, of course, the big news that came down today was that Triple H, Vince's son-in-law, Stephanie's husband, is going to oversee creative. Now, what that means, one of the most important jobs in WWE, the most important job, is the head of creative. That is the guy that is in charge of the talent. That is the guy that is in charge of the matches you see in the ring, the storylines that draw you in, the soap opera aspect. That is in charge with who's getting pushed on TV, who you're going to see. And let me tell you, when I say that this was a universally loved decision, it is because for you guys that do watch wrestling or sometimes do, NXT, how it's all like tie-dyed and splashed and shit now for about the last year or so, or almost a year. Yeah, when it was black and gold, that was all the brainchild of Paul Levesque, Triple H, Vince's son-in-law. All that great talent, all those great matches that you've seen in NXT, how every week and week in and week out, the best show that they were pumping out wasn't Raw on Monday night, wasn't SmackDown on Friday nights, it was NXT on Wednesday nights or Tuesday nights or whenever. Yeah, the black and gold brand. That Triple H, that's his baby. He was in charge of that. So now he's back in charge of the company, and let me tell you, word around wrestling Twitter and the IWC, which stands for Internet Wrestling Community. And as you guys know, I've said it before, I contribute for bodyslam.net. I have known the founder for 18 years. He's been one of my best friends. So, yeah, I do have some followers on Twitter, at the Atkins Asylum, by the way. A lot of my Twitter is wrestling dominated. There's a lot of blue check marks, and more to come on that in a few minutes. There's a lot of blue check marks that follow me. I'm not a blue check mark myself. I want to be. I never thought about doing it. I wonder if I could apply to do it, or if I have to have a certain number of followers. Anyways, it's been a universally loved decision. I lost my vape again. It's been a universally loved decision. So hopefully this can pull them out of what they have going on, or at least make things people take away. This Vince thing is not done. It's not done, especially with the SEC potentially being involved and everything else. Triple H has got one of the sharpest minds in the business, so creative will be okay. And especially Bruce Pritchard. And some was wondering Friday when this came down if Pritchard was going to stay. Vince brought him back 3 or 4 years ago. He's going to remain probably the second in command as far as creative goes, and ultimately as far as running of the company goes. He'll probably be the 3rd, 4th, 5th in command, whatever. Pritchard will report to Paul Levesque, Triple H, and it's good. Triple H has got a wrestling mind. This is awesome, and this is coming at a perfect time because the rumors are coming out that it was announced prematurely. They are going back to a TV 14 rating, which is what you had up until 2008 when they went to PG. You might have more adult-oriented matches, and the blood could come back. The profanity could come back. I don't know if you'll have storylines with racial undertones anymore, or heavily sexually influenced storylines. You're not going to have no people stripping down to their underwear and simulating a live sex celebration in the ring like they did in 2006. That's not coming back. You're not going to have a guy with his pants pulled down and they have a blurred image of his dick laying on a chopping block getting ready to be cut off like they had in 1998. I'm not saying shit like that's coming back, but definitely things are they're heading in a different direction. And this is coming on the turn, and I have used this hashtag on Twitter since January 1st, that 2022, the year of pro wrestling, and that's what this has been. 2022 has been the year of professional wrestling. It has been a nonstop crazy year with so much good shit going on. Thank you, Vince, for the such good shit line. No, thank you, Vince, for... Well, I mean, I guess thank you, Vince, for WWE, because it is, but... Vince, it's an inside joke, it's an inside story to something he'd said, something that happened a few years ago. He said such good shit, referring to having a guy talk about a friend of his who Roman Reigns was going through cancer. He had John Moxley get in the ring and mock him for having cancer because that's what a heel does. He's a dick. But Tony Khan, not Nick Khan, Tony Khan purchased Ring of Honor. He's the guy that owns AEW. His father, Shad, is the guy that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's money. It's an interesting time in wrestling. 2022, it's such a fucking interesting time. Ring of Honor comes back from apparent death. Impact Wrestling is doing great. The NWA is doing great. Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestles another match. Comes out of retirement after 19 years. Ric Flair is retiring, having his last match. Retiring for like the 3rd time, having his final match this coming weekend. Vince McMahon has stepped down. The Undertaker is in the Hall of Fame. Triple H is retired. Like, what a fucking crazy year for the sport that I love. There's definitely more I could talk about as far as this Vince McMahon story and what changes is coming to the wrestling business. But let me tell you something. If it's any indication, because of some of the things that's being said across wrestling Twitter, and everything. It's going to be a phenomenal race to the end of the year in the sport of professional wrestling. How this changes WWE's outlook, how this changes their content, how this changes their matches, the actions, the storylines, the promos, because I'll be honest with you, the E's shit has not been good for the last... The in-ring action's been fairly decent, yes. But the storylines have been so bad, so vague, because they were handcuffed by this fucking PG era, I believe. That's my belief. And they were handcuffed by a 77-year-old man who was still in control, would not release control to his daughter, his son-in-law, hell, even his son, who may or may not be coming back into the fold now. It was so bad. It was so bland. It was so out of touch with everything. So, it's going to be interesting to see. And it's only July. We still got August, September, October, November, motherfucking December yet. Like what is going to happen? You know? Wow. So, sorry, hang on one second. Now, I did not get to check out Raw tonight. I'll jump on Hulu here in a little bit and replay it back, because this is the first Raw of the... and you have to call it a new era. So I don't know how the product was or whatnot. But good things are coming. With Triple H and Stephanie at the helm. Good things are coming. No doubt about that. And then I guess, which brings me to a close on a couple of things here, mainly Steel Toes and Scoreboard's business. We are, let me log into our Steel Toes and Scoreboard's website here. So sorry, Tuesday morning. Let's log in here. There is a couple things I want to cover here. Already had a download today. Waco again. Man, I tell you what, this Waco episode that we did Waco back on June 26th. We did Waco a month ago. And in the last 30 days, it's received 14 downloads. And man, we had a couple of really good days here lately. Holy fuck. We had a 24 download day on Thursday, which I shared. We had a 5 download day Friday the 22nd. We had a 4 download day Saturday the 23rd. Sunday, we had a 24 download day again. Holy shit. And yesterday, we had a 20-day download. Does it say where all these are coming from? Does not say where all these are coming from. We are on track. I guarantee you, with this release coming out here in a little bit after this uploads here off my phone, and with me and Kurt's mini episode coming up this weekend, and if I do anything else, or a mini episode coming up in a few days, and then our final episode coming up Saturday night, we're going to end up topping our all-time total, because if I go back and look at our all-time records, our best month was the second month, June, because that's when people are really starting to get into the podcast. You know, they're checking it out to see what they like, what they don't like. We had 107 downloads total for the month of June 2021. That was our second month podcasting. Our worst statistical month we're coming off of last month. We didn't have the time to record that many episodes. We had 34 downloads in June 2022. June 2021, our highest month ever at 107. June 2022, 34. And as it sits right here today, July, we're at 104. So holy fuck. Where are these downloads coming from? Where are these downloads coming from for the month? It still shows 72 unknown downloads. For whatever reason, it's not linking up the geography behind it. But so far, 22 from the state of Indiana, 3 from Georgia, 2 from Texas, 1 from Massachusetts. Patriots, Rams, Super Bowl. Okay, well, fuck. That's awesome. Okay, but anyways, the couple things I wanted to talk about. Steel Toed Scoreboards business, podcast business. I've been in touch with Scott Kyle. Scott Kyle, why does that name sound familiar to you? Scott's from Glasgow. He's living in LA. He's an actor. He's blue checkmark verified on Twitter. He's got something like 620,000 followers. I've been talking to Scott. He's a great guy. He's a philanthropist, a humanitarian, super good guy. And he's very out there about stage, theater, acting. That's how a lot of these people get into acting. They start on the stage in the theater, you know. When I was in school, one of the kids said that they wanted to grow up to be an actor when we were in 8th grade, and the teacher's like, you got to take theater class. You can't become an actor in Hollywood without taking theater, which, whether it's true or not, I don't know. Don't really give a fuck. But Kyle's really involved with that, or Mr. Kyle, Scott Kyle. I talked to him briefly about seeing if he'd have any interest in coming on to do a possible episode and just talk about whatever he wants to talk about. And I asked him, you know, kind of what his rate was for an interview, and super great guy. He said, I just typically ask that people donate to my children's theater workshop projects, and sent me a link to check it out, and I did. So I'm going to try to put something together there, just because Kurt and I like to promote things that deal with charity on the show. We like to talk about things that deal with positivity, for children on the show. And we like to talk about things that and promote veteran things. And I don't have any of my sponsor information. Generally, when we do these small episodes like this, we don't promote any sponsors, whatever. But, you know, one of the people that, quote-unquote, sponsor us, they've sent us some free merch, is Black Rifle Coffee Company. So, that's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to this collaboration upcoming with Scott Kyle. Of course, as I said in Blue in the Face, we've got the collaboration upcoming. I'm so excited I can't talk. We have the upcoming collaboration coming with the After Two Beers people, Chris, a.k.a. Dutch and Gibbler, and I cannot wait for that sports card episode. That's got me super excited. And then they're going to record with us. We're going to do one with them, and then I'm going to hook the mics up and hook up all of our equipment. Dutch said I didn't have to bring anything. They got everything there. But me being me, I'd hate to go up there for 4 hours and sit there and hang out all day and record. And then they give me a copy to come home and insert and upload to my shit, and then it not work. I would cry. So I'm going to go ahead and pack my equipment along, take the extra 15, 20 minutes, set my shit up, and press record. Kurt's not a big drinker anymore. I told him he didn't. He kind of hemmed around like he might have been worried about it or whatever. And I'm like, you ain't got to drink nothing, bro. Like, I might have one. I mean, that's the whole premise, 2 drinks, press record. Nobody's going to test to pop on 2 drinks. But and then the biggest thing, I've got an upcoming collaboration, and depending on when it will be here on this show, most likely it'll just be a Jared bonus episode. I've got an upcoming episode with a referee for the National Wrestling Nights, the NWA, a good friend of mine. She's just going to come in because the big NWA event's coming in August. Wrestling at the Chase in St. Louis. It's a big event for them. It's a 2-night event, Saturday and Sunday, towards the end of August. Fritz is one of the referees for the NWA. So he was like, sure, I'll come on and do a podcast. And I was like, well, what if we just do a remote interview? I'll just ask you questions. You don't have to sit here and actually talk about anything with me and just answer questions. He said, sure. So I drummed up some questions there. And then that brings me back to the podcast that I keep talking about, the launching. The wrestling podcast is nearing a launch. I've actually, somehow now, people are coming out of the woodwork. I've now backed my way into 3 potential wrestling podcasts with 3 potential different people. I've got a meet and greet with a former local on-air personality for radio stations here in Du Bois County, to try to sit there and figure out what we're going to do. We're going to shoot some ideas and spitball. He's seemingly pretty interested. He's actually had a wrestling podcast in the past called Best in the World. Go check it out. Mr. McGruber, I call him. His Twitter handle's @McGruber. All Actually, is it at McGruber? I didn't want to name drop anybody, but maybe I should. Hang on, let me look for it. Come on, where are you at? Oh, gosh, dang it. So anyways, it's Zach Gruber. He used to work for WBDC and WAXL, I think. Was it AXL? Hell, I can't even remember. Followers. So go follow Zach. Yeah, Mac Ruber, 6754. So Zach used to do the Best in the World podcast. He does some work for 01 USA. Love 01. He's a big Bullet Club guy, big wrestling geek like me. And one of my favorite independent promotions coming up is Paradigm Pro Wrestling, based up in New Albany, Jeffersonville, Clarksville area. They're going to let me come in and meet some talent and talk to some talent on behalf of Body Slam. Back in January, then I got COVID, and we've just not connected back since then. That falls on me. I need to touch base with him. But me and Zach's in the talks for working with one. There's another guy that works the independent scene here locally, but he works a full-time job for the Indiana DOT. We've been talking about one. And then, of course, the biggest one, I'm going to go ahead and break the fourth wall here because I don't know how many people are going to see this, but Tommy Henry is a Tennessee legend in my mind. Tommy Henry is the father of Kinsey Page, who is making quite a name for herself across the independent scene and the NWA. She's one half of the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions with Ella Envy. Kinsey's dad, Tommy, I've known Tommy. I don't personally know him, like we're not running buddies, we never drank a beer together, but me and Tommy have known each other across social media for like 12, 13 years now. He's one of my biggest fans on Facebook. I'm one of his biggest followers there too. He owns KFW, which is based down and around Seaverville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. They run a lot of Knoxville. It's KFW, Crossfire Wrestling. Me and Tommy's talking about one, and we have to touch some base and work some things out. So I could potentially be releasing 3 fucking wrestling podcasts when all I've been bitching about is people like, hey, come do a wrestling podcast with me. Hey, let's talk wrestling. Everybody always asks me questions about wrestling. Everybody I know is like, what do you think about this in wrestling? What do you think about, you're a big wrestling guy, this wrestling, that wrestling, this wrestling, this wrestling. And then I'm always like, hey, I'm only one person. You want to talk about something? Come on the air and talk it with me. Or, hey, come on the air and be a guest. You don't have to do a co-host role with me. Just come on, talk to me. Well, we don't live together. Or we don't live nearby. I got a $50 mod for my pod tracker. I just need your phone. And if you don't want me giving me your phone number, I can Facebook Messenger, Facebook call, or Skype you. Well, I don't want my face seen on video. I don't do video podcasts yet. I need to do some more research on that. I know I could potentially use Zoom or StreamYard, but if I want to do it, I actually want nice recorded video and shit. So I don't fuck with video podcasts right now. It's all audio. So if you Skype me, the only person going to see your face is me. But anyways, that's and then the other thing I want to talk about is the Freemasonry podcast is launching later this year. The True Crime podcast. I think to get that ball rolling, I might just have to just do another solo Jared episode right here and kickstart it and see how many people I can get. Promote the hell out of the episode across several facets of social media. Ask some people I'm good friends with on social media if they'll promote it, and maybe that'll catch the ear of somebody that's wanting to do a true crime podcast with me. But the other one that's getting ready to kick off is the Outdoors podcast with my boss, one of my best friends, and another guy in our clique, one of my other best friends. We're going to do the Outdoors podcast. Tips, wild game recipes, fishing, hunting, trapping, good stories, gun collecting, knife collecting, fun explosive things to blow up. Like I sent the text message out yesterday afternoon, like, man, I'm fucking sick of this. When are we going to get something going with this? Like, I'm tired of waiting. And then it's like, how much more equipment do you need? I'm like, well, I got to buy a couple more pieces. And they're like, let's just talk about this. So I think they're going to, not saying they're going to purchase it for me. I wouldn't want anybody to do that, but I think they're going to help me get what we need. I just really need one more mic, but they're cheaper to buy 2-packs with headphones. Plus, that way, if one headphone goes bad, we've always got a backup. So we're going to get that set up, and that's going to launch. I would like to have my first episode recorded sometime in September, and they're going to be right in the middle of September. October gets here, they're going to be in the middle of getting ready for bow season and everything, but we will find time to make it work. We will absolutely find time to make it work. We could record on they could take one morning off for a hunt and hunt like a Saturday evening, and then on a Saturday morning we could sit there for 4, 5, 6 hours and bang out, a few hour or half hour long episodes, and then I could release them all at times. That way they're not always busy, and we could record once a month and have enough content to get us through the entire month where we don't have to record till about a week out, and then boom, 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 got another 4 coming. And I can do that with anything I do. The True Crime Podcaster, it's all about with me working from home a lot more. I have flexibility in my schedule. I can bend around to what a co-host needs. But anyways, that was the point of tonight. A little bit more mileage out of the podcast. I had so much shit I wanted to talk to, and everybody's in bed. I ain't got anybody to talk to. I mean, it's 12:53 a.m. But I definitely wanted to talk a little bit. And this McMahon story, like, I just cannot believe that he stepped down. And I honestly do not think. I don't think this is a work. I think this is a shoot. It's real. During the whole last 2 or 3 weeks when he quote-unquote stepped away, or month, yeah, he might not have been in charge, or so he says, but he was on the phone with Stephanie, pulling the strings with her now. Now I would like to believe that when he says retired, it's honestly retired. It's not a face. It's nothing covered up. It's legitimately him not calling Stephanie at 2 o'clock in the morning on a burner phone so nobody checks her phone records. Hey, her dad's still in the business. He's calling her. It's literally going to be her decision on what happens now, not his. So, crazy times we're living in. But I think that's it for me, guys. I just wanted to tell you all, thank you so much for all your support. I'm going to be getting some options set up. You guys don't have to. Obviously, I would feel it would mean an extreme amount to me if you would do this, but I've been looking into Patreon. I might be getting a Patreon set up. I might be getting a Buy My Coffee set up. Buy My Coffee is a big thing. It's literally, you just buy us a virtual coffee, so to speak, and it gives us like a few dollars here or there. But I'm going to be getting some things set up into play there. And, of course, as I mentioned about a month ago, Dole is going to be joining us really soon. I'm ordering the mics for that soon. So we will, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be, there's a lot coming. I have built this Steel Toes with Scoreboards brand since May of last year. And it's been hard. It's been frustrating as fuck. I've wanted to quit a million times because we weren't gaining a lot of traction. But here now we're coming off, and I hope it stays like this. I hope this wasn't just an outlier, but somebody's come through and purged our catalog, or purged the majority of the catalog over the last several days, and then they came back for some more, or they told a friend about it or something. I've had a few more people find out in recent days that I've been doing a podcast, so they've been checking it out. I've been getting some feedback from them. Check out Not Your Basic Dad on Twitter. He hosts a podcast called Bullshit with Padre. Well, he talks with his son. Bullshit with Padre, Not Your Basic Dad. The Not Your Basic Dad, the guy that owns Bullshit with Padre, he touched out over Twitter DMs a few days ago, said he's listened to every episode. He loves everything. He likes when we do the Steel Toes side of things, but he loves the sports too. He basically just told me, you're basically no swimming. Yeah, I'm small time, but I'm getting there. Just keep grinding. So I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank everybody that's ever said anything positive about this podcast. I want to thank everybody that's ever had anything to do with this podcast. I appreciate that more than you. I have worked my ass off. It is a 7-day-a-week job to build these fucking brands. I don't care that I'm never going to hit Joe Rogan numbers with this or any of them. I don't care that I'm not going to be the next Conrad Thompson. I don't care about that. I enjoy what I do, and if I can just get 20, 30 downloads a month, 50 downloads, or I should say a week. That's what I want. Not even a day. Give me 20, 30 downloads a week. I don't have to have 20 downloaded days every day. But if I could get 100 downloads a month, now that'd be pretty sweet. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot coming for this podcast. There's a lot coming for Jared Atkins in general as far as podcasts go. But, all right, guys, I'll cut it short. Absent tonight, of course, was Kurt Kelly. This was just I'm gonna call this another weeknight episode. I'm not even gonna call it a Jared episode, just another weeknight, but I'll be flying solo. And we'll catch you guys one night later on this week. We got a mini coming at you, and then on Saturday night, look for it on Sunday morning or Monday morning. 1990 World Series, Reds and A's. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you later.